All right, Future CPA. So the world is aflutter with fear over the coronavirus that is rapidly spreading throughout the world. And really, there's nothing new here. So this has happened before. So, there's been 9/11. That was a worldwide disaster. Then there was 2008, the great economic recession, which I lived a little bit too close for comfort through. And so, the coronavirus is just another one of the big panic, fear things that are happening. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor. Maybe this fear is warranted. We really don't have enough data to really make that judgment call just yet. But here is what I'm seeing. So the stock market, it's reacting crazy fluctuations. Interest rates are tanking, stimulus are being activated and pumped into the market, borders are being closed, airlines are losing billions of dollars because they're having to cancel flights and all those shenanigans, and just the world seems to be in chaos. So what am I doing about the coronavirus, and what should you be doing about it as a CPA candidate? Well, keep watching to find out. My name is Brian Kessler, and I help smart accountants pass the CPA exam no matter how busy they are. My ultimate goal is to get you from stressed to performing at your best, no matter what CPA review course you're using. Welcome to Ultimate CPA Exam Guide. So what am I doing about the coronavirus? Well, it's pretty simple. I am heads down, focused on my mission, which is helping people pass the CPA exam. And I highly recommend that you do the same. And here's why. So there's really only two ways that this whole pandemic can go. So option A is that it's not really that bad. Everything goes back to normal here in a few months, but it's not as bad as they're saying. Now, if this is the scenario that happens, which I really hope it is, and you allow fear to paralyze you, that means you're going to spend the next few months, not studying for the CPA exam, which is months of wasted time and lost productivity, which I don't want you to miss out on. So option B, it's obviously a little bit darker. So yes, maybe the coronavirus is one of the worst viruses to ever hit the world, and it causes global panic, global recession, and just all sorts of meltdowns, and life gets pretty rough. So I can tell you that if you aren't a CPA and this does happen, it's going to be a whole lot harder for you to find a job if you do lose it. It's going to be a whole lot harder to have job security, to really prove your worth to the company, and a whole lot more. And I've got an example that I'll be sharing here in a little bit of why this is crucial to have a CPA license when the times get rough. So more on that in a moment. But regardless of what happens, you've got option A and option B. If you allow fear to paralyze you during this time and it prevents you from studying and passing the CPA exam, either option, you're going to not come out ahead. So regardless of what option happens, it is possible to come out ahead. Now, as promised, I wanted to share my story of how I recovered and bounced back from the 2008 global recession. And it was something that hit me very personally. So just to give you a bit of a backstory, I started working August of 2008, literally a month before the Great Recession started. I went through busy season at a public accounting firm. I hadn't passed any sections of the CPA exam, and I'll get into why in a moment. But basically, I hadn't passed any of the sections. Busy season ended, clients disappeared, and the firm lost a ton of business and didn't need so many people at the firm. So it was a straight across the top 20% cut. And it hurt. I was one of the casualties, but I don't blame my firm. I made myself an easy target. So I hadn't passed any sections of the CPA exam. I was getting good reviews on my audits, but I wasn't a CPA. And so there was 8 people in my start class, and the 2 of us who hadn't passed the CPA exam, gone. And so basically I learned a very hard lesson there, is that when things get tough in the economy, your firms are going to start looking at who is expendable. And I made myself expendable because I hadn't figured out how to pass the CPA exam. And so why didn't I figure it out? So I did well in college. I had a strong GPA. had a great network, had a job lined up before I even graduated, was getting, acing all of my final exams, my master's and all that fun stuff. And I just assumed that the CPA exam was going to be something that I could tackle by myself, that just like I had in college. And when reality hit that I wasn't able to pass my first section, it freaked me out. And then it just created this negative feedback loop in my brain that mentally destroyed me. And I ended up failing 4 or 5 sections in a row. And it just absolutely was devastating to my career. It was devastating to my ego, and basically was the reason that I lost my job during the Great Recession. So what was the pinnacle? What was the changing point in my life that helped me figure out how to survive a career in accounting after losing my first job? And really what I realized was that I had allowed my ego to get in the way. So when I was sitting there unemployed, hadn't passed any sections, I really had to look at myself and figure out what the heck just happened. And I realized that I had let my ego get in the way in the fact that I wasn't seeking the help that I wanted. So I was very secretive about all my failures. I wasn't getting the support that I needed. I felt isolated and alone and depressed. And so it wasn't until I started reaching out to everyone I knew who had passed the CPA exam, and I started, buying them beers, lunches, whatever I could do to get just a few minutes of their time to really discuss and share what I was doing, what they did to pass the CPA exam on their first try, and what I should be changing. And it was when I had this band of brothers who basically supported me, taught me what they knew, and helped me fix what I was doing wrong, did I finally find success. And when I was unemployed for about 3 months, I passed 2 sections of the CPA exam. And it was all because of the feedback that I received from those people, and I fixed what I was doing wrong. And so then I was able to find a job. I met my wife during this time, which was another catalyst. So when you're unemployed and you meet somebody who you really like, you start thinking about the future. And I was seeing the future as an unemployed person, and it wasn't pretty. So I knew, and I used that as motivation as well, to put in the hours that I needed to, 1, find a new job, and 2, to pass a CPA exam. So it's really all about what I find is the relationships in your life. So are you finding people who can help support you, or are you feeling isolated in this process? So if you're somebody who's feeling isolated, I strongly urge you to find a support group, whether it's people who you know who have passed a CPA exam, but also your significant other, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your friends, your family, whoever it can be that can be there and understands what you're going through. And so what I've done is actually tried to recreate this band of brother experience that I had, and then trying to share that with the world. So I created what's called the Ultimate CPA Exam Guide Mentorship Program. So this is something that basically tries to replicate the support I had. We have an amazing community of CPA candidates just like yourself who are motivated to pass the CPA exam because they want the freedom in their career. They want to be valuable to their companies, but they also want the flexibility to go to a different industry, whether it's private, public, governmental, or something completely different. So that's what the entire goal of our community is to help you find your place in the world, and by passing the CPA exam. And so there are links above and below if you're interested in learning more about our mentorship program. If you're somebody who is motivated to pass the CPA exam in 2020, we can absolutely help. We've already had dozens of success stories just in the first quarter of this year. So it's been a really fun ride. And if 2020 is the year that you want to pass the CPA exam, we'd love to personally help you, hold your hand, and teach you step by step everything that we know about passing the exam, regardless of what CPA review course you're currently using. So with that being said, passing the CPA exam, it will help you weather the storm if there is a storm coming. And if there isn't a real storm coming, it's still going to help you find the job that you want, get you more earning power, give you the flexibility and the freedom in your career, and ultimately just helping you become the best accountant that you can be. So that's what we're all about, and that's really what we want to help you accomplish. So thanks again for watching. If you like this video, if you have questions about the CPA exam, go ahead, leave a comment below this video. Go ahead, like, subscribe, to our channel if you like this content. So thanks again for watching. Stay safe, be smart, and pass the CPA exam this year.